Israel's military campaign in Gaza has entered what appears to be its final, most devastating phase. The situation has deteriorated to a point where Palestinians face an impossible choice between fleeing their homeland or facing death. Basic necessities, food, medicine, shelter, clean water, and electricity have become critically scarce or non-existent, transforming Gaza into what observers describe as a humanitarian catastrophe. The severity of the crisis is highlighted by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency's March 21st report indicating only 6 days of flour supplies remained. Critical infrastructure lies in ruins. Bakeries, water treatment facilities, sewage plants, and medical facilities are either severely compromised or completely destroyed. The Turkish-Palestinian hospital's destruction on March 21st exemplifies the systematic dismantling of healthcare infrastructure. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society reports less than half of their emergency vehicles remain operational due to severe fuel shortages. The intensity of military operations has reached unprecedented levels. Since breaking the ceasefire, Israeli forces have killed over 700 Palestinians, including 200 children, with one 24-hour period alone claiming 400 lives. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant's warnings to Gaza residents have been unequivocal, stating that after destroying Gaza in the first phase, the second phase would bring complete destruction. The recent ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas revealed a complex three-phase structure that ultimately failed. The first 42-day phase called for hostilities to cease, with Hamas releasing 33 Israeli hostages in exchange for approximately 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Israel would withdraw from populated areas and allow humanitarian aid. The second phase outlined the release of remaining hostages and further Israeli withdrawal while maintaining presence along the Egypt border. The final phase was meant to establish permanent peace and initiate Gaza's reconstruction. This agreement's breakdown follows a historical pattern of similar failed accords. During the initial phase, 137 Palestinians were killed, including 3 journalists in a northern Gaza drone strike on March 15th. The situation deteriorated further when heavy bombing resumed on March 18th during Ramadan's pre-dawn hours. The current statistics paint a grim picture. 59 Israelis remain in Hamas custody, with 35 believed deceased. Hamas has released 147 hostages, though 8 were deceased. Israel has released approximately 1,900 Palestinian captives. During the brief ceasefire, only 68 aid trucks were permitted daily entry into Gaza, far below the required humanitarian assistance. October 7th marked a crucial turning point, transforming Israeli policy from one of subjugation to what appears to be systematic removal of Palestinians from historic Palestine. This shift mirrors, yet exceeds, previous historical patterns established during the wars of 1948 and 1967, which saw massive Palestinian displacement and territorial seizure. However, the current campaign represents an unprecedented escalation in both scale and intensity. The international response has been notably limited. The United States continues providing military support while opposing critics of the campaign, raising serious questions about Western nations' commitment to international law and human rights principles. The humanitarian crisis deepens daily, with civilian casualties mounting and basic services becoming increasingly scarce. This situation represents the culmination of decades-long territorial conflicts, with unprecedented humanitarian consequences for Gaza's civilian population. The systematic destruction of infrastructure, combined with severe restrictions on aid and movement, has created conditions that many observers argue make survival increasingly impossible for those remaining in Gaza. The international community's response, or lack thereof, may have lasting implications for global geopolitics and human rights standards. The current crisis challenges fundamental principles of international humanitarian law and raises questions about the effectiveness of global institutions in preventing mass civilian casualties and protecting vulnerable populations in conflict zones.